Breaking news, the job numbers have just been released. We thought we'd start with that. Or we could talk about the Grammy nominations that we just been. I know Shawn was like, what? Because we are sitting here now, guys, with 2 Grammy-nominated artists. Alessia Cara won last year for Best New Artist, and you just dropped The Pains of Growing.
Yeah.
So that's why you weren't eligible, because we will see you at the table next year. But Shawn, we've got to start with you, because this is your first Grammy nomination. You left the room to watch the nominations, so we couldn't see your reaction. So please tell us what you're thinking, what you thought when you heard Zane announce your name.
It was just really overwhelming. My whole team is back there, and everyone.
Yes.
It's just amazing, honestly. It's like, I don't really have very many words I can say about it. I'm kind of
But it must have been a moment that you've dreamed about, right?
Totally.
That you dream about, yes.
And you kind of like are not expecting it to feel so crazy, and then you hear your name, and it actually is really super emotional.
Yes, yes, congrats.
Thank you.
Yes, congrats. And Janelle, this is also your first nomination in the Best Music Video category for your song Pink. That was a fun video to make. Yeah.
Yes, that was a big
Thank you. Yes. So many amazing women helped pull that video together. And it's just an honor to create an album that is just as much as it's about me, it's about a community of voices that I hear and I see when I look out in the crowd. You know, there's something going on in this country, and there are a lot of people's voices that are pushed to the margins of society because of who they love and what God they choose to serve. And I wanted this album to be for them, to be a community and a church for their lives.
Alessia, you know what it's like to be a nominee. So what advice do you give them for the road from this moment to the...
I don't have any advice. They probably give me advice. It's amazing. You guys both deserve it so much, and I mean, whatever happens, you deserve to be here. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. You could give me advice.
No.
It's a crazy feeling. I can tell you
any
that.
of us really know how to feel.
Yeah, no one really. Yeah, no one knows. It's just
No,
a great
but you
feeling.
know, Shawn, you've got a hit song that's called "There's Nothing Holding You Back." Nothing holding me back, and one of the lyrics is, you know, I picture people naked. Maybe that's what you should do at this moment. I know.
Yeah, sure,
I love
can
that
do
line.
I'll do that.
Yeah, that just puts that levels everybody.
Sure.
But we have one more nomination, Best New Artist.
Yeah.
Alessia, please.
All right. Are we doing the same thing?
I think you can hold this one down if you want.
Really?
Who are the
Okay.
nominees?
For
Who are the
Best New
nominees?
Artist.
All right. Here we go. First nominees: Chloe and Halle, Luke Combs,
That's big.
Greta Van Fleet, Her, Dua Lipa, Margot Price, Phoebe Rexha, and Georgia Smith.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good catch. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Zane? Because you know this industry. What are the tough categories? Were there any surprises?
Yeah, I mean,
any
there are-
omissions in your opinion?
I have to say, yeah. I mean, I think the category for album of the year is really, really strong. It was great to see her in there. Obviously, Janelle, see Drake get a nod, see Casey get a nod. I think everyone looks really good in that category. I just have to say, personally, I think Ariana. I would like to have seen Ariana Grande get recognized in some of the bigger categories, but perhaps she gets nominated in other categories. I don't know. As far as new artist is concerned, you know, it's interesting with new artists because you would expect to see certain artists like, you know, Post Malone and people who have had huge years, even Cardi B, but they have this certain criteria that they stick to, and the Grammys have to stick to these kind of rules in order to make it make sense. So I think, you know, according to those rules, that's a really strong lineup. And, you know, Dua Lipa, amazing year. You know, Margot Price, what incredible talent. But it's always going to create debate. I mean, that's kind of why we're all here.
Yes.
And no doubt it's raging right now, you know, outside of this room as well. That's kind of what this is all about, right? It's about getting people to focus on music and talk about it and push it forward.
Well, the main categories have expanded now to 8 nominees instead of 5. How significant is that to you?
I think it's very significant from my perspective because we're seeing more music come out than ever before. We're seeing artists reach their audience and create really significant moments quicker than ever before. Look at an artist like Her. What an amazing new artist she is. And to get multiple nominees this year, including Album of the Year, is incredible. And then, you know, an artist like, you know, Juice WRLD as well, who I'm not sure if he's, you know, overly recognized this year, but has had a remarkable year very quickly. So we're seeing a lot of music.
You know what I think is interesting about all three of you, that all three of you write your own music. And I just think that adds another layer to the talent that you have. Tell us your process and what it means for you to write your own music, Shawn.
Everything. I think that it kind of brings you to another kind of level of connection with the music, and then when you're recognized, it means that much more, and when you perform live, it means that much more. But it's fun. I just really enjoy writing music. I'm sure you guys do too.
Yeah, Alessia? Because this album for you, your new one, is extremely personal.
Yeah, definitely. It's the most personal album I've ever made. It's the first album I've made totally by myself on the writing side, which is a big deal for me, especially in the pop world. And I just feel like there's something way more personal and way more connected with yourself when you're able to like reflect on your own feelings that much. Like when you're writing with someone, you never really go as deeply as you would if you were kind of forced to get into your own head when you're writing.
And yet there's so much more risk because you're all alone. So you have to trust my loneliness.
But so many artists are alone now. That's the beautiful thing about it. You know, if you look at artists that are mentioned in these categories and beyond, so many of them have forged their own path and have decided to kind of do this irrespective of the kind of support they're going to get later on, you know. And I think it's really interesting watching independent and new music really come to the surface a lot more now.
Well, for the most part, what's so inspiring, and we see this every year at the Grammys, are artists from different genres really cheering each other on.
Yes.
Right? They're each other's
That happened
biggest
today
supporters.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened
And
today
it's so
here.
organic. I mean, talk about the respect that you have for all of the different musicians in the field.
Oh,
Shawn.
I love, you know, so many artists, and for me, it's not about doing an album or a song to be recognized. It's about, again, speaking from your heart, walking in your purpose, and for me, it's about building community. And these community of artists that have been nominated, despite what happens and where it goes, we have no control over. It's great to be at the event and to show love to them and to tell them how amazing they have been, because it takes a lot of work to do what it is that we do. It's a lot of ups and downs, it's a lot of blood, sweat, tears, anxiety, depression. It's a lot that goes into being an artist, so we have to be there to support
I'm
each
so
other.
glad you brought up that word a couple times, community, Janelle, because the one thing a word that I've heard used recently about music is the healing power of music, giving voice to people, whether you feel alone, whether you feel marginalized, but also if you're in a good mood, it's a way to celebrate, and your music does that.
Can I just say this to you, Shawn Mendes? You were also nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album.
Oh, right.
Amazing.
So far, that's 2, yes. Does it feel any different now that you had your second Grammy nomination?
You keep going, the guy's literally going to like melt.
I'm almost at that point.
Yes, congrats.
Thank you very much.
It is kind of hard to process it, isn't it? You know, when you're doing music and you're younger and you have these dreams and then it comes true. I often wonder what it's like when your dreams really do come true. So now you're a 2-time Grammy nominee so far.
I'm about there. My dream's kind of coming true, but yeah, I mean, it is what you were saying though was so important about all artists kind of be there to support each other. I find, you know, sometimes even though our names are so big, what we do is very small and kind of secluded, and to be able to speak to people who truly understand what you do. I can't count how many times we've just talked for hours about, you know, what we're doing for a living, and it helps, and it's really kind of the biggest thing ever. Yeah.
And it's also, music is really stepping up right now. In a really
How
good
so?
way.
How so?
Well, I think that there have been times when we would have hoped that music and artists would have found a way to communicate naturally, to speak on the times, and there have always been artists that have done that in a very good way, but never in a way that's as collective as it is now. I believe that a lot of artists, across all the things that Janelle mentioned and others, you know, are really taking the opportunity to speak on that, and there's a transparency coming through in music, I think, right now that's very inspiring to young people who are realizing that, you know, if you've got a voice, you don't have to use it, but don't be afraid to.
Yeah, totally.
Normally, guys, when you're nominated, chances are you will be asked to perform at the Grammys that night. Do we dare go there about what that will be like?
Oh, I
for you,
hope
Janelle?
so.
Yeah.
My God, you've got to.
Do we dare? Yes, I think so too, Zane. Yeah.
I've taken the stage before.
Yeah, I know.
But this moment, you know, I want to represent for all the dirty
Janelle.
computers out there. If I do
Now,
perform,
not very
I wanna
few
put
people
some-
take the stage like you take the stage.
Yeah.
You're the greatest.
We were all raving about you, Shawn, before you came. We were at the Time 100 dinner, and you killed. You killed. The audience is right there, and Shawn is right there.
Yeah.
People are like, wow, he's
I wish you could have
amazing.
seen, I sat next to Keith Urban.
Yeah.
I watched
Yes.
him in awe of your performance.
I adore him, yeah. That's awesome.
Well, we know some producers. We can help
adores
put the
you
show
too.
together right now. Right?
Thank you guys, congratulations.
It's Shawn Mendes, Janelle Monáe, Alessia Cara, and of course, Zane Lowe. We're really thrilled that you all came. Love you, Janelle Monáe. You can go to cbsnews.com/Grammys right now to see the full list of Grammy nominees. Did we mention? Shawn's got 2. The 61st Grammy Awards will air not this Sunday, but Sunday, February 10th, right here on CBS. And be sure to listen to all the nominees in the official Grammy playlist, only on, where, Zane?
Apple Music.
Apple Music. We will be right back.